Hey seniors, so we're back with part 2 of what is final expense life insurance, right? So again, my name is Mark Arvizo. I'm a licensed final expense insurance agent who specializes in helping seniors get affordable life insurance to cover funeral expenses, final expenses, and ultimately protect their families. If you're age 50 to 85, you are in the right place. My hope, my aim for you guys is to educate you guys on what you're actually looking at before you hop on the phone and actually get a policy so that you have that peace of mind. Okay. So let's hop right into it. We left off at kind of health issues in the last video, part 1. Now let's hop into how much does it cost, right? So let's get into it. Same format. I have a couple of bullet points for you. Please, if you have a pen and paper, write some important points down. It's going to really, really help you when you hop on the phone, whether it's with me or another agent, to make sure you're actually getting what you want and you know what you're getting. Okay, so let's hop right into it. So, point number 6, how much does it cost? Well, if you're a female and say you're 65 on average, right? Say you're a 65-year-old female who's in good health, you're looking at anywhere from 40 to 50 bucks a month for 10,000 of coverage, which is a standard policy to make sure you're covering final expenses. If you're a male, age 65, you're going to be looking at anywhere from 55 bucks all the way up to 70 bucks a month for 10,000 of coverage, okay? Reason being, and keep in mind, this is for a healthy male. Reason being, for some reason, and hey, I don't hate the game, it's all good, us males always are going to be more expensive if it's not a 2-year wait, but always going to be more expensive than females just for the fact of you're a male versus a female. Females tend to live longer. Females tend to be in better health than us males. I didn't make the rules. That's just kind of the way it goes for us, okay? So how much does it cost? What factors into the cost, right? It's going to vary based on age, gender, and health. Age, gender, and health, okay? So what does that mean for age? Simply what that means is the older you get, the more expensive it becomes. And it becomes more expensive for life, right? So this is why I said in the previous video, get life insurance when you are young and healthy. The younger you are, the less expensive it's going to be for life, okay? We already mentioned gender, right? Male versus female. Females typically will be less expensive than males. And then health, right? What is our health looking like, right? So if you are a senior who, say you just have diabetes, maybe you're on insulin, maybe you have blood pressure medication, cholesterol medication, this is a scenario where typically you're going to get level coverage, and level coverage will always be less expensive than a 2-year wait, right? Say you have congestive heart failure, say you are on kidney dialysis. These are certain health conditions where you're honestly, most of the time, I'm going to say 99% of the time, you're looking at a 2-year wait. Another common one is maybe you've been diagnosed with cancer, right? You're looking most likely at a 2-year wait, okay? So also keep in mind, level coverage will always be less expensive than graded coverage or a 2-year wait, right? So just another reason, guys, get insurance in place while you are young and healthy, okay? It depends, level coverage versus 2-year wait, it depends on the companies you're looking at, but again, generally speaking, the prices I just gave you, 40 to 50 bucks for a female age 65 for a $10,000 policy, and for a male age 65 for a $10,000 policy, these are price quotes generally for a level coverage. You'll see some 2-year waits kind of at that top end, like 70 bucks, 80 bucks a month, things like that. But yeah, again, level coverage will always be less expensive than a 2-year wait. So please, my seniors, get life insurance while you are young and healthy. I'm going to sound like a broken record, and I'm going to say this over and over again to you. I hope I don't annoy you, but even if I do, I don't care, because I want you guys to have the best coverage and be stress-free. Get insurance while you are young and healthy. Make sense? Cool. Obviously, if you guys have any other questions about that, please comment, message me. I'll be happy to help you, okay? Next point, what should I watch out for? So this is honestly a large reason why I'm actually starting this channel, okay? I can't tell you how many times I get on the phone with seniors who have been given policies that are 2-year waits and they're in perfect health, right? Why? Why does that happen? Well, we're watching TV. You see an ad or on television, right? You see a commercial, whatever. I'm not going to mention names, but typically those policies are a strict 2-year wait. They don't even offer level coverage, right? And you'll see, you know, get insurance for X amount of dollars, and you're like, oh, that looks nice. But little did you know that this policy is a 2-year wait, and you don't have to wait 2 years. Oftentimes, you probably qualify for level first day coverage. My apologies. But so that's the thing. TV ads often lead to people just getting 2-year waits without them even needing to be on a 2-year wait. Okay. Here's the other thing. Some agents will push overpriced or limited plans. I'll give you an example. So this is something that is super common for me. And it's really sad. I really do feel for seniors when this happens to them because they're just trying to be responsible and get coverage in place, right? So what happens is they'll get into a term policy. And if you don't know what a term policy is, I mentioned it and I kind of explained the difference, not kind of, I went into detail of the difference between term and whole life. So what'll end up happening is seniors see a monthly payment, right, for an amount of coverage. Monthly payment for an amount of coverage. And they say, oh, that's affordable and that's a lot of coverage. That sounds great. And unfortunately, conveniently, the agent doesn't tell them this is actually a term plan. This is not whole life. So 10 years, 15 years rolls by. Now they're 70 and I get a call and they're like, yeah, well, I actually got a policy 15 years ago, but that policy is actually going to cancel. It's actually canceling this year. And guess what? All of the money I paid into it is also going away. It was all for nothing, right? And it's not really your guys' fault. It's actually not your fault at all. You just didn't know how many products were out there, what they were selling you, things like that. So now I'm talking to a senior who is 15 years older. And remember from the previous point, the older you get, the more expensive it becomes. It doesn't matter if you're still in good health. But oftentimes what happens as well is their health has changed, right? Maybe you were young and healthy 15 years ago, but now we have COPD. Now we have congestive heart failure. We've had a heart attack or stroke in the past year or so, right? And now not only are we just paying more because we're older, but now we don't even qualify for what we would have had we just gotten the right policy 15 years ago. This is something that is super important. And again, this is the reason I'm starting this channel because I want to look out for you guys and there's not enough education out there for you. Okay. So really, really watch out for this. Okay. So how can you solve this issue? You want to work with a licensed, trustworthy agent. It says like me, shameless plug, but I joke, but this is actually very, very serious, right? Maybe you know an agent, right? Maybe you can trust those people, right? But you want to make sure that you know exactly who you're talking to. You want to make sure that, hey, maybe you have their phone number or maybe you just have a good vibe from them, right? Or maybe they have a history, right? You want to make sure that you know what to look for so that who you're talking to is obviously licensed, one, and that they're trustworthy, okay? Next point. How do I get a quote? How do I get a quote, right? Okay, you want to get life insurance? Great. Where do I even begin? Well, obviously, most of the time, you're going to fill out a request on Facebook, or you can talk to me, right? It takes a few minutes by phone, okay? So kind of going back to that point of we're not having to go through a bunch of medical tests. We're not doing blood or urine samples. We don't have to pay a visit to the doctor to get qualified. Again, the way they qualify you is by using the Medical Information Bureau, and they just check your medical and prescription history using your social number, right? This is how they get you qualified. And the beauty of that is this isn't going to take 2 months, right? Once we get past the basic parts of the application, we fill out your social. Yes, correct. I will be asking for your social. You get approved within minutes, right? So their underwriting engine, the people who decide whether or not you're coverable, whether or not you qualify, that takes minutes. So you're going to know instantly. The other thing, I work with top rated companies. So what does that mean? My companies are always, the criteria I have, they have to be A-rated financially, meaning they're a financially healthy company, and they have to be in business for over 100 years. What does that tell you, right? Why does that matter to you? What that says in so many words is this company has a long history of paying out death claims, right? We don't think about that, right? Great, we have life insurance, but what happens when I actually pass? How long does it take to get that money, if I ever get it? A common thing I see is people get life insurance with a company they don't even know, right? And say they want to call, right? They want to answer questions about their policy that they have. Well, when they get on the phone, they're talking to somebody in a different country, right? All the companies that I deal with, they're going to be A-rated and been in business for at least 100 years. Also, these are companies that don't outsource their customer service, right? Meaning you're not, when you call them, you can obviously call me, I'll be your agent for life. But if you call the company, you're not going to be talking to somebody that's in India or the Philippines, right? Nothing against those countries, but you won't be talking to somebody that's out of the country, right? You're going to be talking to people who work within their home office. So every single person you talk to will be within that home office, within this country. So you know you're talking to somebody that can actually solve your problems, and you'll have that peace of mind. You'd be surprised at how much that actually matters. I also see people get policies with companies that aren't in good financial health. So what ends up happening is they're paying the policy. That company goes out of business, right? Whoa, I was not expecting that. Now your policy is changing hands. Sometimes your policy can even change. Sometimes your policy actually is not even in effect anymore. Now we're having a hassle of trying to make payments. Now you're just like, what is going on, right? And now eventually, I've seen this happen where companies change hands, the company goes out of business, and now they're looking for new coverage because something happened with their old policy and they can't figure out what happened, right? The last thing, there's no pressure, just real options explained simply. Okay? I promise you, no pressure, okay? The main thing you're going to want to do is get qualified, okay? It's one thing to get quotes. And sure, I will give you quotes and you can think about it. But what happens oftentimes is people get quotes, they get quotes without even getting qualified. And they wait 2 years, 5 years. All of a sudden, we've just been stacking up quotes and we don't even know if we're qualified and we don't even have coverage. One, we've gotten older, the price increased. And two, you don't even know if you qualify. Here's the thing. If you get qualified without you even paying, they will send you the policy in the mail. So you can hold and read it. You know you're qualified. You know exactly how much you'd pay. And even if you want to shop around, you're more than welcome to do that and compare apples to apples, right? So how do I get a quote? Again, just takes a few minutes by phone. You can do it with me or somebody else. It's all based on age and health. You want to make sure that these are top-rated companies. The main things I would look for, what is their financial rating? Are they A-rated financially? How long have they been in business? How long do they have a history of paying out these death claims and also being a financially healthy company? And then the other thing, I can't speak for other people, no pressure. I'll give you some quotes and we'll see what you qualify for, okay? I hope this video was helpful. This was part 2 of what is final expense life insurance. If you guys have any questions you want me to answer, drop it in the comments. You can message me. God bless you guys, and good for you guys protecting your families. Much love.